You just.
Dig my grave with a silver spade. Dig my grave with a silver spade. Dig my grave with a silver spade. Let me down with a golden chain.
Good evening.
Evening.
What is up, everybody? I'm Courtney.
I'm Sean Elliott Jr.
And we are. Who are we?
Sean Elliott and Courtney.
We are Hill City Paranormal.
Hill City Paranormal.
All right. Paul Fowler, North Carolina Coastal Plains. Thank you so much for joining us. Daryl
up,
Paulette,
Paul?
Bedford
Daryl
Paranormal.
Paulette.
I heard a rumor from this past weekend that my friends at the jail remember me.
Do you remember?
I would absolutely love to hear the story.
September?
Paul said he likes your hat.
Thank you. She was just complaining about my hat.
No, I just don't understand why you're wearing it.
I love this hat.
He does.
It smells like gunpowder and campfire smoke, but I love it.
So you smell like rotten eggs?
Yeah. Smells like, it literally smells like, smell it.
It does smell like a campfire.
It smells like a campfire and
I
gunpowder.
am 10 out of 10 somebody that would fall for a pull my finger because you were like, smell it. And I was like, okay.
Pull it.
No.
Pull it. You lucky.
Yes, I am forever iconic, Daryl. Just know this. I am
The
iconic.
iconic boobs.
All right. Yes.
This is how we greet Courtney from now on. What up, Courtney?
Y'all.
We got to dance.
Oh, my gosh. Your songs tend to stick in people's
Thinking
heads.
we were on mute right now. Somebody tuned in and I was just doing that.
Y'all. How is everybody?
The Courtney method. And we're going to coin it. Hey, we're going to come up with a shirt with boobs on it. It's going to be called the Courtney method.
A ghost with boobs? That would be cute.
Yeah, the Courtney method.
That would be cute. Sam from Wyoming. Hi, baby.
Vitamin.
How's the weather out there?
Nice of you to join us, ma'am. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a whole week. Hey, Mama D.
Hello, mother. Mother.
Sam, it's hot. What's hot for Wyoming? I would love to know this.
No, hot was me on a lawnmower today.
Lawnmower?
That's how hot it is. I can't even talk right now.
What's a lawnmower?
And weed eating. And then the dog scared the hell out of me. Some random dog in our neighborhood just walked up on me while I was weed eating, scared the shit out of me. I was like, what? Turn around.
Oh, he said he wants a shirt with a ghost with boobs.
We're going to do it. We're really going to do it. We're going to do it. I'm going to call Kimmy from Nanny Prim's in Decour and ask her to make me a shirt.
Oh, so we're fancy.
Ask her to make me a shirt with ghosts with boobs on it. And we're going to put Courtney method on there.
Oh, Sam, wow, you got us beat. It was 105 today. I didn't even know it got that hot in Wyoming. So I think it was 90 here today.
You never seen the movies? But they get snow all the time, year round.
Yeah, it was snowing last month or something.
Yeah, it'll be 90 today and snow tomorrow out there.
Guys, we're going to have a paranormal buffet tonight.
Daryl said he'll sell them at the jail.
I love this idea.
We're going to do it.
10 out of 10. I sponsor this ad.
It's got to have pasties on it, though. We don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Yeah, we can't show nips.
Paranormal pasties.
Paranormal pasties. Yeah, you can't.
We'll put K2s up for the pasties.
That's actually a good idea. That's cute.
Yeah.
Hey, Leah.
Hey, Leah.
Yeah, thunder was kind of going crazy earlier.
Going
Looks
crazy.
like, just looking out the window, it looks like it's kind of clearing up, maybe. But I heard it's like 100% chance of rain tomorrow. But we need it. It's been hot.
It's been a little warm.
My plants need it, but
Y'all
my
haven't
grass
seen
does
that.
not need it.
Michelle, the haunted apartment. Hello,
Hey, Michelle.
dear. Good, nice of you to join us. Thanks for popping in here on us.
We finally have some nice weather here, rain for the last week, and we finally had a couple of nice days. Yeah, I'm hoping for some nice days because it's been super hot.
I wish this rain would go away, though. I don't mind the rain. I don't mind it. But
Ronnie,
my grass was wilding out because of this rain. Every time I go to cut the grass, it starts raining.
Hi, and bye, Ronnie Anderson with Bedford Paranormal. I don't know what show you're on. Otherwise, I would totally throw it out there.
Hello, Ronnie.
Good God.
Michelle, check it. Y'all check out the haunted apartment.
You missed
Michelle
that show.
Wilfong. Her show is.
Hey, Shonda.
I got to watching her show like a TV series. Shonda, our buddy Shonda.
Anyway.
I miss you. FBRI. Shout out, by the way. Yeah, it's like it rains.
UV of 7.
I go to cut my grass, and every time I go to cut, I literally walked outside yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go hop on a lawnmower.
Hey, John Sullivan, FPRI in the house.
Sullivan in the house, the man himself.
I heard you guys had a really successful weekend at Belle Grove. Weren't you supposed to call, John?
I did call John. He hit the Iggy on me. John ignored me. He saw, oh man, that's Sean. I'm gonna hit ignore.
All right, guys.
I'm just playing, John.
Without further ado, we have, as I said, a paranormal buffet. Okay. There's going to be a whole lot of topics tonight. We're going to cover pareidolia. Sean wants to talk about
why you gotta say Sean wants
apparitions and EVPs.
I feel you, John. I got your message, brother.
Okay. But I want to touch on pareidolia because this is a really common thing that happens to everybody. All right. So for those of you that don't know what pareidolia is, who remembers the viral picture on social media
the dress is blue?
No, not that viral picture. The viral picture on social media of Jesus's face and the piece of toast.
Jesus' face in the toast. Mm-hmm. What kind of podcast we have?
Everybody saw Jesus's face in this piece of toast. I've never seen that. It was right after or right before. Don't quote me on it. The dress is blue. Okay.
I've never seen that.
Hey, Alan, Bedford Paranormal.
Shout out Alan May. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
So what that is the same thing as the whole dress. It's simply pareidolia or perception. Okay. Mm. But by definition, pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon where one perceives familiar patterns, more often than not faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. Okay. So in other words, it's a tendency to see images or hear sounds where nothing is really there.
Ooh.
For example,
I might want to read that again.
Seeing a face in a cloud, or the man on the moon, or hearing audible voices in static. Those are all really good examples of pareidolia. So to wrap it into the paranormal world, most of us have an inside joke. If the picture is not zoomed all the way in, circled with a red arrow or circled in red, it doesn't exist, right? But the second you zoom it all the way in and circle what you're perceiving as an apparition in red, it's paranormal. What do you think about that?
Well, the minute you have to point something out usually tells me that it's not paranormal. The most common thing that I'm finding in the
I'll repeat it, Mom.
In the paranormal world is night mode. Taking pictures in night mode. A lot of people are using it.
Well,
What's up, Brian?
That's
Jones?
a whole nother topic. So
freaking awesome paranormal, but it leads to pareidolia because when you see a picture taken in night mode, what tends to happen?
it is a form of pareidolia, but that's like getting into a way deeper version. You're talking about overexposure, lens flare. You're talking about
Which leads
light
to what?
glare and things like that that can cause people
Pareidolia.
who are not educated the way that they should be to believe that they caught something that they didn't really catch.
That's a good point. But people who are educated, though, will literally look at a picture of a raindrop that's mushed together to create a face.
What? Mom said my tooth got stuck in a candy apple when I was 6. Does that count? No.
Mom,
What?
leave those paranormal gummies alone.
No. So the reason I say that there's a difference between these two things, okay, is this. So
I know what you're saying.
yeah, so like what I see what you're saying as far as I'm trying to put it into words here. So you are right. If you're not versed on how to look at certain things like say a spider in a camera or a moth flying by your camera or something like that, it will cause you to believe that you've caught a Ronnie's favorite word, quote unquote, orb, right? Or
Orbs.
something like that. But we're talking people that genuinely see faces when none actually exist. So mom asked me to repeat it. You asked me to repeat it. So pareidolia is the tendency to see meaningful images or hear sounds where none actually exist. For example,
like a crack in the wall,
seeing a face in a cloud, or the man on the moon, or hearing a voice in static. It involves basically the brain's inclination to find patterns and then assign meaning to visual and auditory stimuli. So there is two separate things that go with pareidolia. You've got visual and you've got auditory.
That's why I was saying that I feel like night mode creates that because night mode will create patterns in pictures, and it usually blends things together to create a pattern.
Yeah,
it blurs things, it blends things, and it'll create certain patterns.
Yeah, camera quality,
and it makes a face where there's really not a face there. It's just a blur.
Yeah, that is true. But contrary to popular belief, guys, if you have experienced this, you are safe. Pareidolia is not considered a disorder or a psychological issue. It is considered normal human experience. We have all done it. We've been in a dark room, the coat's hanging. I think I've spoke about this in previous podcasts. The coat's hanging in the corner. You know the damn coat's in the corner. But at night, there's a man in the corner, and he is going to get my feet because they're not covered.
Get your feet.
Yes.
Courtney's feet are like this big, y'all. I don't know how she stands.
Hey, Kim.
I don't know how she has balance. Kim Sage, shout out another member of FBRI.
Debbie Cushman
with
Mrs.
dinner
Hair.
with a ghost. I was going to say dinner in a ghost.
Dinner in a ghost.
Debbie, I shared y'all's flyer today. Please forgive me for not remembering the date, but I was able to pull it up right here. Dinner with a Ghost, 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at the Gettysburg Academy. If you don't have your tickets, go get them now.
So, Debbie, you bring up a really good point with that. That's why children see someone in their closet, because their mind is making them believe that in this dark room, something is there. Okay. Kim Sage, just like when red lights are used in a paranormal location.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam says she sees stuff in the dark all the time. I've admitted it. I'm a grown woman. I don't like open closets. There will be no open doors.
No locked doors.
I tried to put it to no open doors. When I go to bed, all doors have to be closed because I'm not going to see anything in the closet because the boogeyman lives in there. I don't care what anybody says.
If he's still in there, he ain't happy.
To be like, I've told everybody, I keep myself safe when the boogeyman does present himself, if you cover your head and cover your feet, he can't get you.
He comes out, he's getting lead poison.
Okay? He cannot get you. I'm trying to give you safety tips here, people.
Best safety tip.
Safety tips. But pareidolia, some psychologists actually suggest that it may have been like a survival mechanism for our ancestors back in the day, helping them to quickly identify faces and like potential threats in the environment. Much like animals, anybody who's in here who's ever been deer hunting, you will see a deer will walk up and they'll scan. Okay. They'll scan their environment. If something seems off to them, you know, if it's a buck, they're blowing, they're stomping their feet, they're alerting the other forest creatures like, hey, something's off. Like,
worst feeling in the world.
I came up here yesterday. This big hunting blind was not here. I'm trying to tell y'all something is off. You know, whether it's they notice that the horizon is not flat anymore, or they smell or see your face. I don't think they actually see. That's a topic for another podcast, I guess. But I don't think they actually see like facial features. I think it's like colors or something.
What, deer?
Yeah,
like, you know, I think they do see your face. They see certain colors. Though.
Yeah, I think it's like colors or something.
I think they see like blue and another color.
My windows have to be covered in light close to me. Yes, Sam. Kim, going under the covers. Yes, Kim. Yes, safety tips for those that have a boogeyman in their closet.
None of y'all must have watched Jason Voorhees when he smashed the girl against the tree with a blanket on.
She was not in her bed with the covers over her head. That's what happened. She was in the woods.
She's in a sleeping bag.
Why are you in the woods?
Same thing.
All right. If you don't acknowledge it, it will go away. This is true. But again, that doesn't.
No, she's saying if you don't acknowledge whatever you're seeing,
it'll go away. Right. But that doesn't like.
No, if the man in the closet, if you don't look at it, he's not there.
She's talking about the man in the closet. No, the man's there. He's there.
I think that's what she's talking about.
If the closet's open, he's there.
No, if you don't acknowledge him, he's gone.
I know. That's why you just close the closet door and he goes away too. But see, you made me lose my train of thought. Thank you.
I was reading comments.
Hey, Leah. I did have a train of thought. It was going somewhere.
Choo-choo.
I don't know where it went.
You were talking about a whole lot of stuff.
F if I know, y'all. Pareidolia. I don't remember what I was talking about, but yeah. So, like I said, it's a normal human experience. I've told you guys it involves seeing or hearing things that aren't really there. It's different. It is different though from a hallucination. I do want to make that clear because I've had a lot of people ask me recently, like, so basically I'm hallucinating. No, it is much more intense and it's most often persistent. And it's simply categorized as a misperception. It's not a hallucination. Hallucination, now you're getting into all kind of things. Do you have a psychological disorder? Are you on drugs? You know, things like that.
Are you tired?
Tired, right. But being tired actually causes forms of pareidolia too.
It can.
So research has indicated that the brain regions that associate with like face recognition are also activated during times of pareidolia, suggesting that our brains may be predisposed to perceive faces even in non-face objects. So like, for example, when you're tired, you might be more apt to see a familiar face or facial features because we're so used to looking at people all day long. You see what I'm saying?
It makes sense. I'm sorry, I was looking at my shark just moved.
The shark, Lord. All right. So now there are two, like I said, two different versions of pareidolia. You've got visual and you've got auditory. Obviously, auditory is when you're hearing things that aren't really there. That goes a little bit deeper into the whole pattern thing. So I watched a documentary recently where a woman had 3 children. The children lived upstairs. Her bedroom was downstairs. They were young children. They were rambunctious. They ran up and down. They were all boys. Okay. Boy moms, you know what I'm talking about here. One night when her kids were at grandma and grandpa's house, she heard the pitter patter of tiny feet upstairs. All right, she goes upstairs. There's nothing there. Nothing's out of sorts. She goes back downstairs, chalks it up to, I'm tired. Okay. This continues to go on. So a psychologist actually got a hold of this story and analyzed it and broke it all the way down to it could be paranormal, or it could be the fact that she is so used to hearing that same pattern every single day that her brain expects that pattern to happen. So she will actually pull herself into a sense of auditory pareidolia where she is hearing the footsteps, but the footsteps really aren't there. What do y'all think about that?
I don't know about that one. I was thinking auditory pareidolia would be more like if you're listening to an EVP and you hear a noise on there and someone says, bro, did you hear it? It said hello. And it's really just saying.
Well, then let me get deeper with that too. So that is a form of pareidolia, just like the footsteps. But to get it even deeper,
or if
you have an EVP and somebody goes, bro, it just said hello. And then all of a sudden everybody in the room hears hello, but it really said sandwich.
Or if you hear a horn blow and the horn sounds like hello. But
or something
but it really
like
just
that.
went beep.
But like I said, it's all like psychological. The human mind is fascinating to me because the things that it can make us perceive, make us hear, make us see, make us feel, things like that has always been like a huge fascination to me. So I've caught myself a few times actually telling somebody when they've had me hear their EVP, they'll be like, so I caught an EVP of a little kid saying, hi, my name is Paul. You can hear hi, my name is very clearly. So I say, okay, play it. And I hear hi, my name is Paul because I just heard them say, hi, my name is Paul. So I will actually go a step further and tell them I can't really make it out because I know what I'm doing.
People, do not ever ask Courtney to listen to an EVP.
Don't.
Courtney can't.
You can if you don't tell me that, like Debbie just said, if there's no power of suggestion, I can hear your EVP. But if you tell me what your EVP says before I hear it, I'm not going to give you an accurate answer. I don't trust myself because you just told me what you heard. So my brain is going to automatically have that in the back of my head. And I'm going to hear that. Okay.
And thank you, Paul. This is my Civil War reenacting hat.
He does reenact in this hat, guys.
It smells like campfire.
Hey, Lois. Happy Tuesday to you, too. Hey, Brandon.
Hello. I'm having Battlefield withdrawals here, so that's why I've got it on.
Yes. But we have reenactments coming up, so you soon will be able to fulfill your dreams.
It's my old Confederate Army hat. But yeah, so like back to the EVP thing, that's where a lot of common I hear it the most. Pictures, I see it a lot, but like I hear it a lot. I will literally hear someone's recording make a noise. That's why when it comes to EVPs, if it's not a clear voice, a lot of times I'll just can them. Unless if I pull it up on the computer and listen to it to get a more clear look at or a clearer look into it, I can them. I like the ones where I get actual voice. Now, again, with Courtney, listen to an EVP. I know I clown Courtney a lot. Don't let Courtney listen to an EVP. And
he's clowning me right now. Guys, I just don't operate by power of suggestion. That's just my personal preference. Like, if you suggest to me, that you heard A, B, C, and D, like I'm going to hear A, B, C, and D. That's human nature. And so, that's why a lot of the time on these TV shows and these YouTube shows and things like that,
they're the worst.
They'll be like, hey, listen to CBP. Oh, shit. It said hello. Did you hear it? Everybody in the room heard hello.
I do not want to.
I heard something completely different before they even said hello.
I don't want to clown any podcasters, YouTubers, or what do you call these people?
Content creators.
Content creators. Yeah, we have a few that follow us. Michelle's one of them. Michelle's great. I will not just for the record, I will not plug you on here unless I follow you, watch you, or think you're good. So don't take offense to this. Michelle, you're great. I'm not talking about you when I say this. I do not like it when I'm watching someone's show and they plug in what their EVP says before they show when they're showing it.
Before they play it.
Yeah, right. So when they say, check out this EVP I got, and they show the word on the screen and then let you hear the EVP, I hate that. Let me decide for myself what it says before you put the word up.
What?
We're down with OPP. Mom's having fun on here.
Yeah, she's wilding out.
But Michelle said my best. What'd she say?
Her best EVP is I can see you, and it freaked her out.
Right. When you get those clear ones in, those are great. But people will literally put, like, I watch some of the YouTubers, and it'll literally, all you hear is, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And then they'll put the words on the screen, And then all of a sudden you hear it. And then you'll hear it, and you're like, oh, it did say that, and it clearly didn't say that. And
the other thing that's popular for pareidolia in auditory sense is spirit box.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's like a big game of telephone. Whenever we have an open spirit box session, we'll go around the room. What did you hear? What did you hear? And by the time I get to about the third person, they're just repeating what everybody else says. And I didn't even hear what anybody said or brought to the table. Now, I don't discredit what people hear because they're not my ears. I don't know what you heard. So please don't get that twisted in thinking that I am discrediting anybody's EVPs or spirit box sessions. Oh God. So yeah. But a lot of people, like I said, bringing it to the most popular thing that is caught in photographs is religious figures. Jesus is the most often captured face in random objects.
I have questions when it comes to that. And I would love to hear people's opinions in chat. Why is Jesus always the most captured one when nobody has ever seen him and knows what he looks like?
Excellent question.
I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, somebody's going to have to really break this down to me. How does everybody know what Jesus looks like in these pictures if nobody's seen him?
That's a good question.
Sure.
But again, it's that goes back to a spinoff of last week's podcast where we said, I brought up like it all depends on, your upbringing and things like that. If you were brought up to believe that Jesus was in a white robe with a red belt, had long, kind of flowy, messy hair, a beard, whatever, however you were brought up to believe that your Jesus looked, that's how you're going to believe he looks. And that's the face you're going to believe you see.
The Bible I read said he looked a little different.
So
I'm just saying, like, if I see that picture that everybody says is Jesus, I don't believe, I'm just curious. Like, why does everybody say that's him?
Because of all the pictures that we've seen growing up over the years. I don't know. But
Debbie just had an answer. Clicked off of it. To be there. Good answer. And I agree with you, actually.
Yeah. But to wrap up my whole entire thing about pareidolia and psychology, there is actually been a lot of studies where there is a direct correlation between ADHD and audio pareidolia, which I found super fascinating. And I started digging into that because basically it was found.
Oh, you're going to diagnose people?
No, I'm not going to diagnose anything. But the most common traits are restlessness and low level of focus. And so at that point, like you will lose a lot of sleep and start hearing things, seeing things, and kind of just going from there. So then I dug a little bit deeper. What psychological disorders are more apt to experience pareidolia? And it turns out that there's only 2 out there that have a direct correlation. One is autism and one is ADHD. I'm still digging into the autism piece because that's super complex and super fascinating to me. But the way that a person with autism's brain works is far more advanced than our brain at the end of the day. So I love this. All right, Alan, auditory pareidolia can happen. At my work, we have printers that make certain chattering sounds. And in a room where I wear what looks like I'm dressed like an astronaut, I hear what looks like I'm dressed like an astronaut. There is air being pumped into the back of my hood and air being tucked out of the room with fresh air being pumped in. It's hard for me to hear anything in this room, but I've heard these printers for so many years that my brain tricks me into hearing the printer out in the hallway when I know I can't. And again, that goes back to my whole footstep thing. If you're used to hearing the same footsteps every day, day in, day out, when those footsteps disappear, you're so used to hearing them that you actually trick yourself into believing that they're there. But I think in conclusion, my biggest thing with pareidolia, guys, is I like following my favorite page,
Gettysburg
Ghost Pictures. Guys, if it's
a
not
great page, it really is.
If it's not circled in red, there's no apparition. I don't care. It better be circled in red. Okay. But I cannot tell you how many pictures I see of Saks Covered Bridge when somebody zooms all the way the frick in and like
the picture's like this big.
and like you could see the grain of the wood on the bridge and it makes out the figure of a soldier.
Are people still doing the cigarette trick?
Yes. They are.
Now I know we're talking about pareidolia right now.
No, I'm done. That was my conclusion.
That's great talk. Cigarette trick. It's one thing to see people do it, but when I see teams doing it and actually talking about that's paranormal, stop it. Okay, stop it.
But what if they genuinely believe it's paranormal and they're not scientific based? Look, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, guys.
That's where research comes in before you. That goes back to the old saying my dad said to me a long time ago. It's better to keep your mouth shut and let people think you're dumb than to open your mouth up and let people know how dumb you really are. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Teams, stop hosting stuff and telling people things that just simply aren't true. Cigarette trick. If you're a person doing it and like to mess with people, that's one thing. But I'm watching teams now do this and wow people with it. Cool. It's not cool. It's not. Really not. I mean, until you can take that cigarette and make it float in the air and smoke the cigarette, you got something. But to sit it on the edge of one part of the bridge and do that, stop it.
Yep.
Please stop it.
Now, what are your thoughts on pareidolia?
My thoughts on pareidolia is, again, it's one of those things. It's not a medical condition. It's something that can happen to anybody, including me. It's happened to me. I have to look at things, and I think it's very common. It happens on day-to-day life. Alan talked about it happens to him at work. It's something we got to be careful with as paranormal researchers, especially when we're investigating. That's why when it comes to reviewing evidence, when it comes to evidence in general, we have to carefully view it. And the thing that I try to do when I get something that I call evidence is always give it to somebody who I know is going to tell me the truth about it. I go to people like you who can't hear nothing when it comes to EVPs. I'll call them out. Ronnie Anderson, who doesn't believe anything is evidence that I give him. If he confirms it, then yeah, I'll roll with it. Ed Odell, there's different friends that I have in the field that will tell me the truth if I show them some evidence. I believe I've sent stuff to John Sullivan before. Ryan Jones, I believe I've sent stuff to at a time or two. I have friends in the field that will tell me the truth on what they feel that I've got. So if that's why, again, pareidolia can happen to anybody. So Daryl Paulette, I believe I've sent stuff to. So if you have something that you feel that you've captured, have friends out here who will look at you and tell you the truth. Don't have yes men as friends in this field because it will only hurt you. And as a true friend in this field, if you have other investigators as friends, tell them the truth. Don't look at something that you know is not evidence and tell them, good catch, because you're only hurting people in the field. I've had people get mad at me and upset with me for telling them, but it can happen to anybody. And, none of us are professionals at any of this stuff. So we both can be making a mistake. Have another source you can send it to. If I have something I think is a good capture, but I question it, I'll send stuff to 2 or 3 people. I like to hear 2 or 3 different opinions sometimes. So that's my conclusion on that, on the evidence side of things.
So I'm going to read a couple comments, and then I'm going to go over a couple of the most common paranormal pareidolia photos that I found on the internet. Daryl said maybe because we're all children of God, we have a memory of how he looks and don't realize that we do. And that's deep.
That's deep. Daryl.
And all of us have a memory that is pretty close to each, that we all see the same facial aspects. That is really deep. Thank you, Lois. Thank you. Thank you. Mom, I do not think you sound dumb. I think you're being silly. All right. So let me share my screen for a second and tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. And we will.
Good point, Debbie.
Let's see.
We are all practitioners. None of us are professionals.
That's right. All right. So how many people have found a face in an orb? Okay.
I never zoomed in that close to one.
So this isn't just a face, guys, that these people saw. 1A, they gave me an arrow for guidance. I was very happy about this because I don't see anything here. But the person who posted this photo sees an entire nativity scene. The whole scene.
They would have had to guide me on that one.
Okay. Now, again, it's not my photo. I'm not here to debunk it. I didn't take it. Do I think that it's a little strange that it has 2 little dots in it resembling eyes? Yeah. Do I think it's a little bit strange that there's some brother and sister orbs going on over here in the corner? Paul says he could see that, like holding baby Jesus. Debbie says she sees 2 people.
I don't see the naked. I don't see that.
Okay. Kim, I'm with you. I had to really look at this. So, Sean, since you're sitting right here, where the arrow is pointing is head number 1. Head number 1 is a person with a white robe on. Okay. He or she is facing person number 2.
They're stick figures.
No, they've got, if you look, here's the hump of the back and an outstretched arm. Head is here, back, and then in the middle is a baby in a basket. Okay. This is the description of the picture.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to.
Interesting. Somebody was.
Picture number 2.
Disclaimer, do not use drugs.
Okay. Picture number 2. And Chad said it looks like Rob Zombie. Picture number 2. Face in smoke. How many people have been sitting by a campfire taking a picture because it's a cool scene? You're vibing with your friends.
Pass the moonshine.
Yeah, passing moonshine around, and all of a sudden you snap a picture, and when you look at it, there is an evil face staring back at you out of the flames. Guilty.
Never happened.
I have. Did I call it a face? No, I just thought it was kind of cool that it looked like a face. This is a similar instance. This person right here is actually taking pictures while smoking a cigarette. They're smoking a cigarette, and you've got eyes, nose, and what appears to be a mouth in a very elongated face. Again, thankfully, they have put the face in brackets for us so that we can see it.
I don't see a face.
Okay. They could be scrying. They could be. In this instance, they were just taking a picture, I think, in the snow. But, you know, hey, we don't know where they were at spiritually at this moment.
Lois is laughing.
Okay. So there's picture number 2.
I think my eyes are bad because I'm
Okay.
not seeing this stuff.
Picture number 3.
I need to go to Piedmont. All right, I think I see this one. Looks like Freddy
Okay.
Krueger right there.
Piedmont. This person was taking a picture of their partner. There was a reflection in the glass, and they claimed they had caught a small child apparition on camera. Do you think this is pareidolia, or do you think they actually caught something? There were a lot of people during 9/11 who would say they saw a demonic face in the smoke and flames.
I remember those pictures.
Mhm. There is. Leah saw it. Leah saw
They also caught him in that when the mansion burned down recently.
Yes. What about the recent New Orleans mansion that was burned down by Annabelle? Ooh, and the thunder rolls.
Oh man, we talking about Anna. You said Annabelle.
Right when I said Annabelle. See? All right. Leah said she sees 3 in this picture.
Y'all's eyes must be like 2020 here.
So yeah, that's picture number 3. There is a supposed child standing behind this person's hair in the reflection of the glass.
That's a person?
This is a person sitting sideways
I swear I
here.
thought that was I'm not gonna say that.
No. All right.
All right, let me get serious.
And last picture here. Okay. Last picture here. The infamous tree line pareidolia. Okay, here these people believe that they caught a cryptid live and in living color.
Not a cryptid.
Okay.
Where's this at? I don't see no cryptid.
Alan, no, I don't think so. Don't think so. 90% sure, guys, it was probably an insurance claim, but you know, I wasn't there, don't know. All I know is I remember Lorraine Warren said, whatever you do, no, under no circumstances, do not move Annabelle. So what do? They put her on a countrywide tour. All right. So here, thankfully, again, they circled it in red. Here is your cryptid. Your like 10-foot tall cryptid standing right here.
Okay, I see it now.
Okay, you've got legs, arms, looks like maybe a hooded creature of some sort.
Well, how do they know it's a cryptid?
This is their claim. They caught a cryptid.
It could just be a tall woman.
They believe it was cryptid. I know, Alan.
I mean, technically, Alan, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sued.
If they weren't supposed to move Annabelle, then the owners are responsible. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
In the words
Lorraine
from
Moore wouldn't
a
even look at
trooper
that dog.
in the words from a trooper in Spaceballs, we ain't found shit in those woods. Look, guys, I can't tell you how many tree line pareidolia pictures I come across on the internet. Taking a picture into the woods is probably the most unreliable source, I would say, for trying to capture apparitions or anything like that, because you can see the initial tree line. You might even be able to see like the secondary tree line. But then going back, you don't know what's a stump, how many trees have fallen over. You don't know how many branches are hanging down, the shape of the trees that are behind it.
Time of day.
Right, time of day. I recently watched a video on the internet. I had to watch it about a dozen times. This person is in the woods. I had so many questions about this video, by the way. Person's in the woods at dusk, is panning the camera in a complete 360, literally standing there in a complete 360, pans across what they believe to be a shadow person in the woods with them. Question number one, why the heck are you in some crazy woods at night near dusk? I don't know. Question number two, why are you spinning in circles? That was a big question for me. I wanted to know.
And trees create shadows.
And number three, when it first panned, first thing that I did was go tree stump. There was a bunch of down trees. It was in an area where a storm just came through. Things like that. First thing I thought was a jagged tree stump. That's what was like kind of creating the illusion of arms. And things like that. So that leads me to, I know I talked forever about pareidolia, but that leads me to my point of pareidolia. Your eyes literally play tricks on you constantly. The human mind is powerful. You will see what your mind wants you to see when it wants you to see it. Okay. My best advice for those that are going on paranormal investigations, especially those that are overnights, late nights, long nights, early mornings, whatever, get plenty of rest, stay hydrated. Despite me literally like being a hypocrite by saying this, our blood types are not Red Bull. We have to get adequate sleep in order to be able to be our best version of ourselves when paranormal investigating. Chad, working the night shift and patrolling the mountains, you'll see weird stuff, but usually I brush it off as being tired and driving all the time. Yeah, I'm on the fence with that one too, Michelle. I'm not sure I see how they can see it. The thing about all four of these pictures that they have in common is this. I can see how they could see what they have described that they saw, if that made sense. Okay? I can see it. But again, I can see it because they broke it all the way down to a science as to what they're seeing. So then I can make myself believe that I see it. The only one I could not make myself believe that I saw was the nativity scene within the orb. That is the only thing. I tried and I tried and I tried. I cannot see it.
You broke it all the way down to me. So,
because they broke it down.
Oh.
But I physically do not see it.
I'm with Leah. I don't see it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
I saw like one or two things, but
So, but I know we've got a couple minutes, and I did want to lead this straight into how pareidolia and apparitions go hand in hand. A lot of the time when we're tired, guys, a lot of the time when we're snapping pictures and we're not so sure, we zoom all the way in, we have the tendency to think that we caught apparitions. I don't ever really, I will send a picture of what I believe is an apparition to about 3, 4, 5 trusted other investigators before I'll even post it as evidence saying that I caught an apparition. I also am a huge buff for burst shots. I love putting my phone in burst shot mode because what that does is that takes a sequence of 10 rapid photos back to back. And if I've got 8 photos with nothing and then 2 photos with something, what is that? We can't explain that.
James Brady. Spirit-led paranormal research.
This is true, James. We definitely throw out a lot more evidence than we keep. But what's your take on apparitions and pareidolia or just apparitions in general?
Well, I'm going to shoot it right back at you. And you say you've been investigating about 15 years actively.
Well, 16 now, but yeah.
16 now. How many apparitions have you caught?
I have an apparition album with 5 photos, 4 apparitions in them, 1 a shadow figure.
All right, I've been actively investigating for 20 years and caught zero actual apparitions.
And actually,
But you take way more photos than I do.
Actually, I have to dumb that down because one of my photos in there was taken by one of our team members, Carrie.
Right,
so actually, I have physically caught 3 what I believe to be apparitions on camera and 1 unexplained shadow entity. I'm gonna call it an entity.
So they're very uncommon to catch on camera. You know, people swear up and down that they've caught them, and then they show me a picture of them, and immediately I lean towards pareidolia because the picture's so grainy, and there's so many things going on in the picture, and they have to zoom all the way in with their camera and show me. See, if you look here between the tree line and between the house and between the car, and if you look right here, and if you look real closely and squint your eye and you get in the yoga position, you'll see that.
A yoga position.
That's literally how. What I want to see in an apparition photo is I want to be able to look at the picture and say, oh, there it is. Now, you did catch one, or someone actually, when you were with a group, they caught the apparition. I didn't see it for the life of me until you printed it out on a picture, and then I could clearly see what it was in the picture. I don't know if it was the way your camera took the picture. I don't know what it was. But when I looked at the picture, I could see in clear definition. I could tell you what era they were about the clothes they were wearing. That's how clear that picture came. I don't know why it was that way. You printed it out at CVS because we put it on our poster board. But that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to look at the picture and see exactly what I'm looking at. When Carrie took her picture in the chapel, I clearly could see what it was I'm looking at. I didn't have to zoom. I could just clearly see what I'm looking at.
Right.
So apparitions are very uncommon to catch on camera. And so when people show me these pictures and they're grainy, none of the pictures you took were grainy. They were all clear as day, but there was something there that shouldn't have been there. That's what I'm looking for. If you're taking a grainy photo and you have to zoom and highlight and figure out, 9 times out of 10, you didn't catch an apparition. You just have something weird going on in your photo. I'm no expert, though. Maybe you did catch an apparition, and that's just me judging the picture. But you should always check yourself as well. Maybe I didn't catch an apparition. But you're about to show one of the
I was going to say, let me show you one of the apparitions that was actually caught on camera.
Why am I like that in the picture, though?
You were scratching your head because there was some equipment that was going on.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I'm not going to say what I see. In the comments, I want you guys that are still with us to tell me if you see anything in this photo besides Sean has his hat off and he's scratching his head. And Chuck is another team member of ours. He's leaned over the front church pew, and the 2 lights in front of him are reflections from our camera. All right, James says he sees 2 in that picture.
I think I see what you're talking about.
Does anybody else see it?
And the crazy part is that I'm looking at it on the screen and it looks nowhere near as good as the printed off version.
Okay, so Daryl says it's sitting in the pew. Daryl's one of the few that has seen this photo before. This is a great debate amongst our team. A lot of people say that there is an apparition sitting in the pew behind, looks like Laura Wilder. It's sitting in the pew behind Chuck. So 2 pews back. I am a lone wolf here. This storm is awful. I am a lone wolf here. I feel like there is a young teenager in maybe some early 1900s clothing. You could see the puffs on her dress walking up the middle aisle. That's what I see.
I think she's sitting.
there's a lot of people. I'm the only one by myself.
But I can see why you're saying she's walking, because if you look at the pew, she's sitting. She would have been short, and her shoulder is way above the pew.
Right.
When you're sitting in the pew, those pews are pretty high.
Yeah.
So her shoulder is way above the pew.
So Lois says she sees 2 in the pew.
I know where she's looking. I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what that is right there. What I think it is, what I think some of you are seeing, if I'm correct, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. But
Paul says she's sitting.
But I think what y'all are seeing is the second pew right here
to the left.
That's the bar that supports the pew, and because it's dark, it's reflecting light. I think that's what y'all are seeing. If I'm correct, now if y'all see something I don't see.
Yeah, please. Hey, if we caught 2, let us know. If we caught 2,
let me know. And then it's showing the shadow of the rail on the second and on the pew in front of that. That's showing and making it look appear as an apparition. Because when I first saw it, I kind of thought, wait a minute, that's something there. But I think it's actually reflecting light off of that support bar on the second pew.
Could the pews have been positioned differently in the past? Alan, that's a really good question that I never got the opportunity to ask.
Absolutely.
But I do believe that is a possibility.
Well, yeah, because the church has actually been reconstructed. That church is not the original. It's actually was a church that was torn down and rebuilt using its original parts. So the floor, ceiling, chimney, and the pews are original to the church. The piano and the organ, and I believe in the piano that's in there original. There's a lot of original pieces to the church, but they probably were in different places.
So Chad says he feels like it's light reflection. James Brady says, what is the white shadow that covers the top of the pew? On the left right here, I'm not sure. Being that this is obviously a presented photo file to you guys, I have the actual huge photo in front of me.
It's huge. Very huge. It's the hugest photo. Oh, I'm sorry. I got carried away.
What just happened?
I got carried away.
I thought I was in the Oval Office for a second.
It's huge.
You don't have the right color hair or skin. But I really felt like that was light reflection. But I could be. Good God, this storm. All right, light reflection. The church was brought in on truck in one piece. Yes, it was.
I was told it was torn down.
No, I'm sorry. No,
that church was torn down.
Yes, this church right here was rebuilt. The pest house was brought in and relocated in one piece. This church has remnants of the original church and was rebuilt and restored. And Leah, that's what I'm getting. Shoulder length, dark hair. It's sitting right on the poof right here. Alan, yes, it is a beautiful building. But this storm is getting bad. I don't want to lose anybody, so let me.
But as you can see, it's a picture that we can show you where we didn't have to point, we didn't have to circle anything out. Do we know for a fact that there's a person sitting there? No. Do we know what it is? No. Can I say it's a ghost in the picture? No, but clearly somebody's in the picture that was not a part of our team. Nobody on our team looks like that. Carrie, when she investigates, she's in a ponytail. And Carrie's the one that took the picture, so she couldn't.
Correct.
Carrie couldn't be in the picture. She's the one holding the camera. Courtney was way off.
Actually, I don't even think I was in the chapel when that photo was taken. I
thought you were on the left side of the room.
So anybody that's investigated with us, Paul, you've been there several times. I sit all the way to the left, far by the piano. If I was in there, that's where I was sitting, so I would have been off camera.
But as you can see, though, we're
yes.
And if y'all want us to continue this conversation next week, we can pull up some more of our apparition photos that we have.
I could send it to you, James.
We can pull up some more apparition photos that we have. Maybe share a little bit of some more of our evidence that we actually have, more of our hard evidence. We don't share a lot of evidence just because of, we try to stay away from the drama side of things. I don't mind the accusations. I just don't want to go back and forth with other people about what we fake and what we don't fake, because we don't have a reason to fake anything. All of our supporters and followers are organic. If you are watching this podcast or following it, it's because you're choosing to be here and you're genuinely here. I didn't seek anybody out. And for that reason, that's why we love y'all so much and we appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Y'all give us a reason to get on here every Tuesday night. And trust me, every Tuesday I look so forward to get on here and just get to talk to y'all. And it's even better when I see y'all in person. Most of y'all who have met me in person, most of the time, the first thing I say to you guys I'm so good to see you in person instead of behind the screen. So thank you for continuing to support. Thank you for continuing to listen. And thank you for engaging in the chat as well. We definitely appreciate it. But it's a terrible storm coming in right now. If it's not storming in your area, hop on over to the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. They got great stuff always going on. I'm not sure what they got going on, but I'm going to hop over there myself, so I'll see you there. If y'all got anything left to say it now, forever. Hold your peace until next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm Courtney. Y'all stay safe and dry. We'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m.
On the other side.